Core Devs call number 50. And just to remind you, it's been a great journey to this point for all of us and Starknet because we are in call 50. We have seen a lot of development across all these calls, and we're looking forward to continuing and building and growing the network from the ground up. And we really appreciate all the core devs working here and all the work that you're putting in. So let us just start the call 50. And as always, we'll be recording this for anyone who could not join us live today. And you can keep your mic muted when you're not speaking. Today, we'll check in with Ohad on the mainnet upgrade that was planned for April 20th. And then we'll hear from the client teams and wrap the space with anything else if anyone wants to say. So let's get started. So we'll start with the first point on agenda, which is network health. So Wahad, let's start with the network health. Any incidents or issues since our last call 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, so we had a testnet issue. We had a testnet reorg last Sunday. Um, I think something between 30 minutes and an hour of activity were reorged. Um, the crux of the issue, as was communicated in real time, was a bug in Cairo Native. This is a somewhat experimental feature that we enable just on testnet for debugging. On mainnet, it is very carefully working with whitelist contracts where we work with the parties that asks the contract to be whitelisted and ensure that all flows were tested and such bugs couldn't hide. Um, since then, obviously, besides fixing, besides performing the reg, we also fixed the bug within native. Um, yeah, I think nothing more to add around this incident.
Okay. Let's then just move to the mainnet upgrade. So last call you said that the mainnet upgrade was planned for April 20th. That
Mm-hmm.
was 3 days ago. So did it happen and how things go?
Yeah, it happened. The upgrade went very smoothly. Downtime duration was as expected. I've seen no complaints on network health or any kind of degradation. If you're aware to any complaints, let me know so we can be attentive and fix it ASAP. But I think it was a success so far.
Okay. And do you have any things that you want to say about the team readiness status with regards to all the other client teams?
I mean, I know that there were many back and forth iterations with full nodes and Pathfinder, mainly. Uh, we were the culprit here. The RPC specs changed quite frequently in the few weeks before the final launch, but eventually all the teams were ready. Obviously, nothing could have gone smoothly if they weren't.
Okay. And also during the last call, some teams were still ironing out the new transaction type issues. So did everything get resolved on that area as well?
As far as I know, yes.
Okay. Okay. Okay, so got it. Now we can talk a little bit about propeller because in last call you mentioned that a dummy propeller would be used in O14.2 with the mainnet upgrade. So is it live now?
Yeah, so we actually changed those things a bit. We were thinking on how the network will look like and how many nodes there would be and what we really, where are the prime areas of focus we should invest in order to solve the problems we face with now rather than the problems we may face with in a few years. So this understanding made us realize that, okay, going to a network where we have dozens of active sequencers will probably not happen very, very soon because um, this doesn't seem like what would bring more usage compared to, more efficient network or real decentralization with fewer entities or being post-quantum secure or like many directions that we currently explore for technical properties of Starknet that will bring adoption more efficiently than opening the network to many dozens of sequencers. Um, and as part of this result, we for now stay with Gossip Sub, which is efficient enough when we talk about up to like 10 to 20 proposals. and we'll make sure we are focused towards areas that like matter now for our core issues further along. Propeller is still, I would say, 90% completed. Whenever it's more relevant, we'll productize it and make it into production. But for now, it's not needed.
Okay. So do we plan to bring it in 14.3?
No, we don't plan to bring it until supporting significantly more than 10 sequencers becomes a priority. Um, for now, as things stand, I don't get the signal that it is. If you know about any team that really cares about the difference between 10 and 100 sequencers, let me know. Everything is shifting as it should be in this hectic ecosystem.
Okay. Okay. And also last time you mentioned that O 14.3 would come into integration around mid-May at that time. So are we still on that timeline or like has anything changed on that side?
So this is again very influenced from my previous answer.
Mm-hmm.
We are currently reevaluating um, everything that we do. Some things are for sure going to make it into 0.14.3. We have SNP 35, which was published around dynamic prices. We have quite a few cost optimizations efforts. We now work very tightly with the full node teams on changing the protocol around pre-confirmed transactions. So this will make it into 0.14.3. Obviously, we need to decide what is the final feature packages before we can commit on a date. I will say that all of the things I said are um, some things we will want to see on mainnet soon, and we want to have small releases. So I don't expect the date to move to like John Plus, but it may be end of May on integration. So in 2 weeks I'll have a more final answer here.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Thanks for the update, Awad. And now let's hear from the client teams. So, Chris, we'll start with you. In the last call, you had released O22.1 on March 31st and then bumped the blockifier on April 7th for Cairo native bug fix, as far as I remember. So, how have things been going into these releases and how are they performing? Are there any issues that have been reported?
Okay, so we haven't heard of any like issues concerning those two releases, and just recently we released another version, 22.3, which includes a bug fix which was discovered by this Starknet team. It concerns the max L2 gas limit. So the tip was accounted for in an incorrect way. Now it's corrected. And in the meantime, we've started working on the upcoming changes. I'd say like extensions to the pre-confirmed API, and that's going to be introduced in 0.14.3, as far as I remember. Plus some additional further pre-confirmed work down the line, further beyond that.
Okay. And the regarding Cairo Native, like you mentioned that on April 7th there would be a release specifically for teams using Cairo Native. So have any of these teams given a feedback or they reached out to you for something else?
Not really, to be honest, but we just felt that we have at least one team that's reliant on this feature flag. We just need to release ASAP.
Hmm. Okay.
But
Okay.
we haven't heard any like complaints. It was more or less smooth.
Okay. 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 Thanks, Chris. Perfect. And we can move on to Rodrigo from Juno. So, Rodrigo, in the last call, you made a couple of releases one night after the call 48 happened, and another a few days before call 49 with sequencer call efficiency improvements. So, how is the adoption looking on those right now, and any recent releases that you're planning right now?
Yeah, I think everything with the releases went good. I think there were some people who had some issues at the beginning because they were upgrading from a very old release and they know how to migrate a lot of data. So they were like, "Oh, no one is migrating." But yeah, so they it took a while, but I think after that there was actually no other issue, and so far there have been no reports. Regarding releases, yesterday we released 0.16, which is mainly a new version that is like introduces some breaking changes. Like let me look for them. But yeah, mainly I think the most important one is that it performs a migration that was optional since 15.18. And now when you migrate to 0.16, if you hadn't when you update to 0.16, if you hadn't done the migration before, then now it's gonna trigger. And it's quite a beefy migration. Probably will take 40 minutes, 1 hour, depending on SSDs, the SSD machines of the users. So yeah, so this is what we are up to. Also, this release include the same fix that was also called by Starknet team that Chris already mentioned. And yeah, I think that's on our side. Now we're working. We know we want to. We'll continue working on the state. We are continuously working on pruning. We hope to, before the end of next month, to have a new version with pruning on so our people using Juno as a validator can reduce disk space, and I think that's for us. Yeah.
Okay. And also those sequencer call efficiency improvements that you mentioned that have been implemented. So have you measured any impact, like some actual bandwidth reduction numbers or any benchmarks that you would like to share it with everyone else?
I think those are mostly because they are big, but they're not that big. Like they are, for example, they are 500 kilobytes, which network wise is not a lot. The problem is they're used through time. So it's like if we pull, for example, every 500 kilobytes, it's actually not noticeable. But if you do it through a long period of time, then it compounds, right? So there's no actual good benchmark to show that, but benefits are there.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Just a question, guys. Like, is it my internet connection or is Rodrigo's internet is lagging a bit?
It can be mine. My Wi-Fi is a bit was acting a bit strange since today.
Yeah, I think it's
But let me
Rodrigo's.
know if you
Okay. Okay.
let me
Yeah.
know
We
if
can,
you
yeah.
if
So we can
all
move on
good.
to Himang. Yeah, all good, all good. We can move on to Himang from Carnot. So, Himang, in the last call, you said that you had completed all the O14.2 testing on Madara and SNOS. You found some bugs and you fixed them as well and plan to release as soon as possible. So, did those releases ship and like what are the other updates that you have at your end?
Yeah, surely. So the releases are still pending on the reviews. So we're waiting for the Dojo team to review the SNOS 14.2 PR, as well as there are some internal reviews going on for the Madara and orchestrator updates. But they're majorly done, and before the next call, we'll be releasing them properly well. On the 14.2 upgrade side of the full nodes, as I had said in the previous call, we'll be trying to flawlessly upgrade Madara as SN mainnet does, and that happened actually. Madara was able to realize the block SN version upgradation, and it continued with it properly well. So that happened as well. All the full nodes are completely in sync with integration, Sepolia, and mainnet. As of now, we are working on some technical debts that we have had, and we have been taking care of clearing them up. But that's the major update from our side.
Okay. And also
Yeah,
in the last call, you mentioned that you would talk to like the team internally about sharing the parallelization
yeah,
optimization
yeah, yeah.
model. So what's
Correct.
that
So
shared?
I just my bad. I just shared that document on the channel right now, so you guys can have a look. It gives a proper summary of how the implementation was done and what were the conclusions that were taken out of the parallel localization feature that we created in Madara.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Uh, Thank you, Hemang. I think we have covered majorly all the things on our agenda today. Let me check if there is anything else to discuss. Okay, so like the last topic as every time, does anyone have any other topic to that they would like to bring up? Anything we should discuss that isn't on the agenda? Okay, so nothing. Then we can wrap this up. And thank you everyone for all the updates that you have given today. Quick reminder that the next call will be in 2 weeks, Thursday, May 7th at the same time, 11 a.m. UTC. I'll get the recording up on YouTube and post notes to GitHub. Thanks for your time and see you again in 2 weeks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.